Hey everybody, how's it going? Today we're going to be going over and showing you how to install the Curt trailer wiring harness here on our 2020 Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross. So a trailer wiring harness is going to be one of the several things you need in order to tow a trailer here with your Eclipse Cross. The first being the trailer hitch. Then we're obviously going to need the wiring harness. The wiring harness is basically going to transfer the signals from the vehicle to the trailer so we can let other motorists out on the road know what signals we're going to be making. A lot of times some of our camping trailers actually block the taillight circuits on the vehicle here, so we still need a way to transmit those signals so we can arrive to our destination safe and sound. So this harness here is very easy to use. It's actually going to be installed inside the vehicle there, so when we're not using it, it's nice and protected. There is an option to route this outside the vehicle using a grommet in the bottom of the floor pan there, but I really don't recommend that unless you're towing frequently. Having the trailer connector outside the vehicle can lead to corrosion issues, which would then in turn affect your light. So having it stored inside the vehicle is going to be best case for most of you guys, and that's how the manufacturer recommends. But when we need to use it, we just simply open up the hatch here. We're going to take the trailer connector here. We're going to route it outside, draping it over the bumper. Now when the hatch comes down, it's actually going to be pinched in between this weather stripping here, so it's not going to affect the wire or anything. You don't have to worry about cutting the wire. One thing I do want to make note of is you just want to make sure that we're clear of this little latch mechanism there. But once we have it in that position, just simply close our hatch, and there we go. Now we're ready to hook up to our trailer. So this particular kit here comes with what's known as a 4-pole or a 4-way trailer wiring harness. Now this is going to be the most common one and the most widely used. Chances are the vast majority of trailers you're going to be towing with your Eclipse Cross here are going to require this. So this is a basic trailer connector. It transfers the stop and turn signal circuits for either side as well as the running light circuit. So if you do have a larger trailer that has electric brakes, you're actually going to need a 7-way trailer connector. Now we do offer some options to adapt this to a 7-way, but again, that's only going to be for the trailers with electric brakes. In addition to the adapter, you'll also need a brake controller. So in regards to compatibility, this particular customer here didn't actually know that they had the factory tow package because this wiring harness is actually advertised only for models with the factory tow package. Well, I had a feeling it was going to work, so we went ahead and tested it out, and sure enough it did. So chances are this wiring harness here is going to be a direct fit for your vehicle. And the reason you're going to want to use this harness as opposed to some other options is this one offers a complete plug-and-play installation. There's no splicing whatsoever. There's a tow package port on the vehicle over here on this side, and then we have another one under the hood. But aside from that, it is very easy to install, and as we said, no modifications. Let's go ahead and walk you through this entire process step by step now. First step of your installation, we're going to be opening up the hatch on our vehicle here, and we're going to pull out our floor covering. So we just lift up on that fabric tab and just pull straight out. We need to remove our storage tray. There's going to be a Phillips head screw in each of our 4 corners. We also have some push fasteners here towards the threshold panel. So go ahead and take a Phillips head screwdriver and just remove each of those 4 screws. Once we get those 4 screws removed, as we said, we're just going to lift straighten out. It is going to be kind of hard to release the clips here from the threshold, so you're going to kind of reach in there and you're going to pull up here first, and then the rest of the panel will come out. Next, we're going to remove our threshold panel here. So in order to do that, there's going to be 2 little push fasteners on the inside securing it to the back there. So we're just going to take some sort of sharp point here. We're just going to use the end of our screwdriver, and we're going to depress those little tabs there. We'll give you a closer look at those once we get them out here. And then we're just going to pull back here. And those are the little fasteners that we were talking about. So there's just 2 in total, 1 on each side. We need to remove them both. And then once we get those out of there, we're just going to pull up and out on this panel. We're going to have some cargo hooks secured to the body of the vehicle, securing this panel. We have one here, one here. So in order to remove those, it's just a Phillips head screw. and then the entire cargo hook will come out there with the screw staying in it. So again, we have 2 of them. And then with our cargo hooks removed, we're just going to pull out on this panel here. You do have to lift up here first. And then we're going to be separating the clips along here, not all the way, just about halfway. So now we're going to pull this panel back, and about the midway point in here, we should look on our factory harness and we can see a small white connector that's actually going to match up to the plug on the other end of our wiring harness. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to simply plug the 2 in together. They will only insert one way, and you will hear it lock when it's successfully clicked into place. We're going to take the self-tapping screw that comes in your kit here and secure the ground wire, which is this white wire with a ring terminal already attached on there. We're just going to pick a nice metal surface in here that's nice and flat. We're going to attach it to there using our provided screw, just like that. Next, we're going to take our pad of double-sided tape that comes in your kit, peel off the backing, and stick it to the back of our converter box. Just like so. Now we have another backing we have to peel off here. And then we're just going to stick that behind this panel to a flat metal surface. Now we're going to let this panel fall back down into place here. And we're going to take our connector in here. I'm going to take the wiring harness, I'm going to route it down underneath the panel. We're going to be reinstalling all the components that we removed previously. So we've got all of our paneling inside the back of the hatch here reinstalled. Now, don't forget to install your cap here for your 4-way. It's not as important since we're inside the vehicle here, but it's not going to hurt anything to put it on there. So just slide it over the wire there in the connector, place it on there like so, and then I usually like to just coil this thing up, sort of store it down in there. That way it's there when we need it, but it's out of the way when we're not using it. Now, we'll just pop our floor covering back into position, and then we'll finish up our installation in the engine bay. So in the engine bay here, we're going to be installing our power wire harness that comes in your kit. It looks like this. So this is actually going to plug into a port on the vehicle, which is going to be located on the driver's side, sort of directly behind the headlight down in this little pocket here. So that's what our connector looks like. You're going to have to go ahead and cut the electrical tape holding that to that wiring harness there. And then we should be able to bring it up. So this is actually a protective cap installed on the end there. We're going to depress that tab there and then pull this out. You may need to get 2 hands in there. That's what that cap looks like. But once we have the cap removed, we're going to take our wiring harness here, and this gray end is just going to simply plug into the factory port there. It should only plug in one way, and it should click when it's locked into place. And there we have it. And now this end here, we're going to route up and over and attach it to the positive terminal on our battery here. So in order to remove that nut, we're going to get a 12mm socket. It's going to be that nut right there. So go ahead, take our tool here, loosen that up. You want to be careful you don't lose it down in the engine bay. I've done that countless times and it's never fun. Let's take that off. Take our power wire here. I'm going to route it underneath there just as a little bit of wire management. And then I'm just going to stick it over there like so. And then re-secure our nuts. Now you are going to sort of deform the metal on the ring terminal of our harness here. But that's totally fine. It's not going to hurt anything. It is, however, probably going to get in the way of our little protective cover here. But that's not really a big deal. If we wanted to, we could trim out a little notch here in order to close it, but that hinge there is pretty weak, so chances are it's just going to sort of be propped up like that, which again is totally fine. But the last step here is to just simply take your included fuse install it into the fuse holder, and then we will close the lid there on our fuse holder. Test everything out to make sure it's working correctly. Now we're just using a little 4-pole plug-in tester that we have here at eTrailer. You guys can just use your trailer as well. Keep in mind, if there's any issues on the trailer, they're going to carry over to your testing here on the vehicle. We'll go ahead and hit our brakes here so we can see we have those. Left turn, right turn, and then finally our tail lights. So there we go. Now we know everything's hooked up and working correctly. And now with everything working correctly, that's going to do it today for our look and installation of the Curt trailer wiring harness here in our 2020 Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross.